Hi everyone, welcome back to Keeping Up With The Chaldeans. I'm Anthony Toma with my co-host there, Junior Binu. We're here with Charlene Raikany with Booked and Balanced. And we have Donna Bashi and Beth Spadafore here from Community Choice Credit Union. Hi ladies, how is everybody doing today?
Fantastic.
Great.
Happy New Year.
Good. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with Charlene. Charlene's going to tell us a little bit about what her service that she offers. She's, you might recognize her from the Cannabis panel that we had. She was the booked and balanced professional that we had on the show, and she referred or mentioned these ladies, their community, their credit union, and so we figured we'd have them on together to kind of explain what services they can provide to our lovely audience out there. So kick it off. You're very welcome.
I don't know if anybody remembers, but the last time I was on the show, I kind of jumped in when somebody asked, what is the best bank or credit union? And I just was like, community choice. Yeah. And I figured we should be here together because a lot of my clients, I think all of my clients bank with Community Choice, and it has been a fantastic experience for my clients, for me as a CPA. There's so much I need, and Donna, I've worked a lot with you, and I think you're amazing. So I think it's important that we sit here as a CPA and the bank so we could talk about some important benefits for anybody entering the cannabis industry or anything, because I have clients that aren't in cannabis that I'm sending your way. So I think it's important we sit here together as a finance professional and as a bank, and we could tell the community and the cannabis industry how amazing you guys are. Honestly, I think you guys are great.
Thank you.
I have never, and this is completely honest. I messaged you at like 11:30, and I'm like, Donna, what was this check for? And you text me back. Like, hold on.
PM?
Honestly, yes. or like at like 4 a.m. And you're always available for me, and my clients love that. And every time my client will be like, my debit card's not working, I'm like, hold on, let me message Donna, and you respond. And I don't get that at any other credit union or bank that deals with cannabis, or just any other bank. Right? You're amazing, and my clients love Community Choice. They love all of you guys. So I really want everyone in this space to understand how important it is to pick the right bank. Especially for me as a CPA, when they don't have the right bank, my life is rough.
We appreciate that. Thank you. And vice versa, we refer to you too because you are very honest and your team is amazing as well.
So question for you. How was the relationship forged between you two, and what's your role then to get to their role?
So one of my clients was one of their first cannabis clients. When they started the program, my client said, hey, we're moving over to Community Choice. He introduced me to Donna because also as a professional, I can't accept money from the cannabis industry. I can't just deposit their checks at a regular bank either. So I needed a bank account. So lawyers and professionals working in this space can't just go deposit their checks. So I spoke with Donna. Can't just go deposit their checks at like a regular federally accredited bank, whatever. So I contacted Donna and I said, my husband's an electrician. I am a CPA. We both work with people in the cannabis industry. What can you do for us? I mean, we had our bank accounts open. She worked with me the entire time. We just became fast friends. We went golfing together. We're like BFFs now. And there's a reason for that. She is fantastic at what she does. Her customer service skills are top notch. Community Choice has a fantastic group of people. I don't know who it was on LinkedIn. It was at the VP.
It was Dan Monroe, our Chief Operating Officer.
I messaged him on LinkedIn and I said, your people are great. You guys do a great job. And he responded like within like 10 minutes. I'm like, all right, these people are great. So me and her, like every time I had a client that was at different credit unions or at a bank that the bank didn't know they were cannabis, I said, you need to contact Donna. So I would put them together. I would do all the paperwork to help them get their bank account started, and they would finish it off. So that's the process.
Gotcha.
I'm the middleman, kind of making sure all the forms are filled out.
Right.
Now, is there something the audience should know the difference between a bank and a credit union? Is there something that they need to know out there?
That's all you guys.
Yeah. So credit union is owned by its members. A bank is owned by its stockholders. So at the credit union, every single member has voting rights. and they're part owner of it.
Okay.
So it makes it more personal. I worked in the big banks, and now with the credit union, I learned a lot from the big banks, but it is different.
Gotcha. So tell us what your role is there at the credit union.
So my role is the VP of Business Development. So what I do is I handle all cannabis deposits of every single tier. I've been doing this for a little over a year now. We actually started with, like Charlene said, a select handful of pilot members. It just kind of expanded, and we have over 270 members now in the cannabis space, and just like a little bit over a year. Originally, my role was more of like a AVP of retail, kind of like a regional manager.
Yeah.
But they asked me to just find these pilots, and then everything kind of exploded.
And then where's the credit union located?
Yeah, so we have 22 locations throughout Michigan. We've been around since 1935.
Wow.
We are spread out all throughout Michigan. So we're a Michigan-based credit union.
Nice. Now, obviously, you as a credit union, just so the viewers know, we're not focusing just on, say, cannabis today. There's just a let's just say, in my eyes, and I'll explain later why, but it's a great addition to banks because of the money situation. It's not been fun. It's not been easy. There's no more shoe boxes. You got to get this shit in the bank. So that definitely needs to be done. You guys opened up the avenue. She brings you the client, you guys take care of that. But I'm pretty sure right now, as you see, with the entrepreneurship in this industry gives us better opportunities. You guys do loans and other things that you can offer?
Yeah.
And are they able to be offered to those individuals that are in the cannabis sector?
So we do everything. Some people think a credit union is just for auto loans. I used to be that person, like, oh, they just do auto loans. But we do mortgages. We do everything. Of course, we have to look at their financials. They have to have some non-cannabis income. But we do lending in the cannabis space. And Beth, she's the expert. She's my partner here. She is phenomenal. She does lending of all kinds. But since we're talking about cannabis, she can talk a little bit about that.
Cool.
Yeah, so the process basically, when people usually come to Donna first because they have all this cash that they don't know what to do with. So she takes in the cash, and then as she's speaking to them, she realizes that they are in the business and what kind of business they have, albeit whether it's a medical marijuana facility or a recreational facility, a grow operation, whatever it might be. And so she'll refer them to, there's 4 lenders, I'm one of the 4, and she'll refer to one of us depending on the area. And right now we're just doing loans on real estate, so just the building. Okay. And the reason for that is federally, marijuana isn't legal yet. Sure. It's only legal in the state of Michigan. So God forbid the federal government came in and said, you know what, we're not gonna approve this. All you states, you have to stop doing this. If we had a building and the industry that was in there where we were relying on the income from the tenants wasn't there anymore, we'd have a vacant building. Okay, so same thing with equipment. We're not financing the equipment right now just because it's industry specific. Gotcha. So until the federal government comes and says, okay guys, this is legal, you can do it, our parameters are a lot tighter than traditional lending on in that sector.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Let's talk on that for a second, because I've had a tough time, and maybe you can help some of the viewers too. They don't know some of the scrutiny that we've gone through even as hydro stores. Hydro meaning I sell you the gardening equipment. You know, you just go out there, you plant your seeds. So we're the picks and shovels while everybody else is finding the gold. I'm on my 6th bank right now in 12 years. I'm with a credit union who gave me that opportunity and asked me up front, is there any cannabis related stuff in your store? I said, no, because technically there isn't. Right. Everything is meant for that. So why do we get even scrutinized? I mean, even to the point where credit card companies weren't accepting us for 67% of them weren't allowed. They blacklisted our company.
And the reason for that is your industry related to the cannabis industry. Okay. So you maybe don't touch it, you don't sell it, you don't have anything to do with it, but what your store does sell is related to the industry. So there's tiers within the industry, and you would rank in one of those tiers. Gotcha. So that is going to make the way that you borrow money a lot tighter. So for example, let's say you wanted to buy a location to put one of your stores in. Typically we would finance it at 80% or 75% of the purchase price. Yep. On a cannabis related, it's 65%. And that goes back to what I said earlier, that if we took back the building and that lease isn't there anymore, we have an empty building.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where those parameters fall into place.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Junior.
No, I was just gonna say, so in regards to that, we really won't ever see true protection from those banks. It's almost like we've got to rely on banks like yours who take it into consideration and understand us better. Do you foresee the future changing at any point in time for this industry, because they're trying to write laws and bills to try to accept this? So are you seeing anything, and are you encouraging part of that to happen?
Yeah, a lot of things are happening within the industry. I mean, right now, the people that have medical marijuana licenses are kind of first on the list to be able to get the recreational licenses. And so we have done quite a few transactions, loans to people in the medical marijuana industry, understanding that their industry is probably going to expand once they get their recreational license.
Sure.
I think until the federal government comes out, and unfortunately they've had a few other things on their plate right now, until they come out and make it legal across the United States, everything's going to be a little bit tighter, and it's going to be state by state. For example, the appraisers that we use for the medical marijuana buildings are based out of Colorado because they know what they're doing when they're appraising the building. They're looking at that lease. They understand that that lease is higher. They understand why it's higher, and therefore the building is appraised in conjunction with that lease. So I do see it expanding and opening up. I think we ultimately will end up doing equipment and lines of credit and credit cards and things like that, but not until the federal government legalizes it across the United States.
Gotcha, that makes sense. So we kicked off the show with you, and you turned and you said these are the greatest people on earth. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about and refresh their memory about what you do and what services you offer?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
They'll know you down there. They'll know you.
The audience is gonna love this. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I'm a CPA. I don't only deal with the cannabis space. I have real estate clients. I do software as a service. So I have clients that actually have apps that are subscription based, but a majority of my clients are in the cannabis space. And what I do is a little bit different than a normal typical CPA firm. I offer like controller CFO services. So I'm more involved in the day-to-day. I speak with managers daily. We talk about their cash every single day. I'm extremely involved. You would probably think of it as your own little accounting team that you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for. You just, you get all of our services for this one fee, and it's a lot of services. I'm like HR, I am your accountant. Sometimes I could be somebody's, they ask me for some crazy things, and I'm willing to do it because all of my clients turn out to be my friends, and I love it. I love what I do. I love the accounting aspect. I love all the financials. So it's important for me to be completely involved. My clients, like I said, they call me, sometimes they message me at 11:30 like, hey,
I was just going to say that.
Can I spend this tomorrow? And I'm like, I don't know. And, my husband's like, put your phone down. I'm like, I can't. I have to answer them. So I'm really involved in their day-to-day, whereas some CPA firms, and this is no knock on them, but some CPA firms, you only see them like once a month. I really want to be involved in the business. Sometimes I feel like it's my business. So that's what I do, and that's kind of why I'm super involved with the bank. Not a lot of CPAs are contacting their client's banker every single day, but me and Donna talk like every day. So you could just tell that I'm super involved when I'm BFFs with the banker of my clients. So that is what I do. That's what I love to do. I've always loved accounting, and that's my story.
And your clients love you too.
Thank you.
Charlene, you hold an important part too of the industry because you keep things intact, right, for these clients. I want you to also touch base on audits, and if you are going to touch base on that, are these two women involved in parts of the audit because they're your banking? So let's lead into that because that's a huge part of it.
I love that. So as I posted on my TikTok recently that the
What's
AFS,
your TikTok handle?
CPA Life One. CPA
Come on,
Life
you
One.
got 100,000 followers.
CPA _Life One.
Right.
But I like my Instagram more, #CPA. I know, I really gotta get better at this. I wasn't prepared for that. But I posted a little video, and I said if anyone is aware, on December 8th, Whitmer signed into legislation that if you have a medical license, you no longer have to submit an annual financial statement audit every year. it's every 3 years, which, by the way, these things are very expensive. They're very tedious. And so everybody was hoping that this would be the same for the rec. She only signed into medical. They were going to leave it up to the MRA what would happen with the rec licenses. So every single year, the plan was to audit these guys. They're not full-on audits, but they're very expensive. Like, we charge a lot of CPAs to do these agreed-upon procedures. And a few days ago, the MRA signed off and said, we will also do it every 3 years instead of annually, which is a very big deal. It's going to be a very good thing. It's a positive step forward. It's going to save them a lot of resources. It's good for, me as a CPA. It's a lot of stress at that time. So with that, while they were annually, even though they're going to be every 3 years, there's times where I'm asked for things almost like the MRA will contact me and be like, send me a screenshot of this check. If I can't get into the bank and get a screenshot of that check, or something goes wrong, I'm locked out, and I can't get a hold of your bank or your banker, which, by the way, it happens a lot. There's a bank out there that you couldn't, there's no way I could reach these guys. If I can't get a hold of your credit union or your bank, you're going to get in trouble if I don't respond to these notice of deficiencies as soon as possible. I am able to, and I have done this, call Donna. Donna, the MRA wants to know what this check is for. I can't get an image. Almost immediately, she contacts whoever she needs to contact. She sends me screenshots of 10 checks. I'm talking about within 10 minutes. The MRA was impressed with me. I didn't tell them it was all Donna. I said it was all me. It's like, this is how good I am. Yeah, but it's super important for these audits that I have everything I need and everyone in place in case the MRA says, no, right now I need to know what this is for. It's super important that I have a relationship with your bank and that your bank offers a relationship with your attorney, with your CPA, and they do. Yep. They definitely do. And it makes your audit smooth, easier, and I've had absolutely no problems with any of my clients' AFSs. We do an amazing job because their bank gets me everything that I need.
Good. And then when it gets to you, how easy of a process or pain in the ass is it? Because the people want to know, how many times am I going to have to deal with this? And when I deal with it, how fast can you guys get me out of this jam?
So we have a whole team that supports. So even though I'm essentially your relationship manager, if you were to open an account with me, Junior, I would say, Junior, whatever you need, text me, email me, call me. I'm your go-to person. I don't want you to go juggle through hoops calling. We have a contact center or whatever, but I know you. We have that relationship. So I have a whole team that helps support. We have accounting, we have e-commerce, we have digital services. We have an online chat, and I can chat one of my people, and I just ask them, I need a copy of X, Y, and Z, or sometimes I can just pull it up myself if it's imaged. It's really easy. Our online banking platform is phenomenal. It's the same one that the big banks use. So everything is in one spot. So, even for you, as if you were a member, you can e-deposit right through. Yeah.
Well, by the way, technically, for the record, I am now our members of this bank, so it's good to know what we're getting into.
Well, I could not disclose
she did,
that.
But I'm just letting you know, and they were very helpful. So
I also hold a bunch of accounts there. So does my husband.
Thank you, guys.
So we love it.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, but our online banking platform is amazing. It's all on one platform. So if you had a check and you wanted to e-deposit, you could just do it all within one app. It's really easy for us. The same, we're able to I have a whole team that literally just supports me. I could not do it on my own. We've actually, since we started this, we were just really starting with just, like I said, a handful of pilot members, and it just grew. And it really just grew because of the relationship that I had with the members. They kept referring. We didn't do marketing. We never marketed. I do a lot of, we volunteer, we give big, we're out in the community. You probably see me at chamber events.
That's for sure.
But we did not do one bit of marketing. It was all just word of mouth.
Sure.
My personal cell phone is accout there only because that I didn't have time to get a work phone. And it's fine because I would rather our members have access to me whenever they need. So it's really, really simple. And we had to actually expand our teams, our compliance team, our accounting. We added more people to my individual team to support all of our members.
Sure. Now for the big guns.
The Brinks truck is outside.
do they scrutinize or ever give you hard times with these loans? I'm sure they do, but like, what's some of the, do those get audited for the loans for these properties? I mean, what like, is that all part of something that where Charlene would come in, or is that something that you guys give us a hand in on it when we go to loans for?
So like I say, most of the time the loans come through Donna because people have to deposit their cash first.
Yep.
But I will say it is an honor and a pleasure to have people like Charlene handling their books, because I will say I send out a laundry list of information that I need, and a lot of times these entrepreneurs are so focused on doing what they do, which is their entrepreneurial stuff. The stuff that I need, they're like, oh, just contact my CPA. I don't know. So having that in with a CPA who knows what they're doing and is able to supply the appropriate information makes the process that much smoother and that much easier.
Good.
There is a lot of extra information that is required in the cannabis industry because there's so many layers to it. So it's not just the lease, and it's not just the purchase of the building or the building. There's a lot of ancillary information. If it's a grow operation, you know, there's so many plants that they can grow, and there's so many square feet that they have to do it in, and there's a lot of nuances to it. So when a request goes into our loan committee for a cannabis deal, let's say a normal request might be 10 pages long. The cannabis might be 35 pages long because of all the ancillary information. And honestly, I will say it's very tedious. It's very intense. We want to know everything about that person's whole portfolio, not just that industry. It's called a global real estate cash flow, because most of the time individuals have multiple investments where they're getting income from multiple businesses. And that's important to us because, like I said, if the cannabis industry would go away, we want to make sure that all the other investments that they have could support it. So
somebody's sitting out there watching. Could you refinance what they have in place already?
Yes, the biggest key I will tell everybody is we do not do startup operations. So the tenant in the building, whether it's the owner of the building or it's an arm's length transaction, the tenant in the building has to be in business 1 year. Now, if it's not in that building, let's say they have another location that's been in business for a year, that counts as well. We're just not right now doing startup businesses. We've never done them even on traditional lending.
Sure.
So it's no different in that aspect.
So maybe someone that has a third location or a second location, you can figure something out.
Or actually,
for
I'm
them.
working with one of Charlene's clients right now who has a lot of buildings that he owns free and clear.
What's his name?
No.
Just kidding. Joking,
I was so
But so because
not just in case. I was like, no,
Got him.
yeah, it's funny because he's gonna watch.
Oh my
but
God.
like, you know, there were no places to get money to fund the cannabis industry other than hard money lenders where people are paying very large interest rates.
Right.
So a lot of people use their own cash from whatever else they had to finance these buildings. So yes, we would refinance something that they own free and clear as long as the appraisal's there and the lease is there and all that other kind of stuff. So yes.
It's
Not to
crazy.
cut you off, I'm so sorry,
No,
but
you're
my client absolutely loves her, loves working with her. It's not just because you're from U of M. You know, you guys are great. Like I said, you guys answer, you're there, you're available. If we have any questions, I had never done a global cash real estate thing that you were talking about. And I'm like, I have no idea what this is. And you guys are very helpful. And he loves that. I love that. He's super excited. And you know, I want to throw it out there that he didn't even think this was ever an option. His old bank and credit union that he was using never ever offered this to him as an option. So he was thrilled when he signed up with me this year, and I was like, let's talk to Community Choice. I've not had a client that didn't love me because I referred them to Community Choice. My client got a G-Wagon because of you guys. So all my clients are getting things that they didn't think were possible because of Community Choice. And everyone's super happy, and we truly like you
I
guys a
have
lot.
to add something too, if you guys don't mind.
No.
So it works hand in hand. Having a partnership with a great CPA like Charlene actually is helpful too, because there are reviews that we do. You know, we may randomly, like if, let's say, for example, it's a cannabis entity that's just getting started. So we're asking, you know, questions, and maybe that, you know, a few months in, things are changing. So we might need some reporting, we might have some questions. And if we reach out, her team is on point, they're on it. Because we could get in trouble too if we don't have that information, you know, because we want to make sure we keep our records so clean. We have a whole compliance team that's looking at all these accounts on a daily basis to make sure that we're able to support our members. So having somebody in a relationship, you know, like we do with Charlene or, you know, or other accountants that are very organized definitely makes a difference.
Yep.
So thank
Now,
you.
did you give us a phone number and an email to the audience so they can reach out, and then
No.
you guys do the same?
I will do that right now. But
Okay.
really quick, I think it's super important that everyone understands that it's not only just the cannabis, people dealing directly with cannabis, the attorneys, your financial advisors, me as a CPA, I didn't realize I couldn't, you know, put my money in Chase. I had to put it at a credit union. I'm telling you, my favorite credit union is them for my own banking. It's not just for my
need to hire her.
clients.
We do.
My own banking. My husband loves it. He loves working with you. So I think that's super important. Phone number 248-880-7949. They can text me. They can call me. They can email me. My email's kind of long. CHARLENE at booked, BOOKED, the letter N, balanced, BALANCED.com. Bookedandbalanced.com.
No one's going to use that. So
Never.
give them the phone number
Just
one more
text
time.
me, please. I have so many new clients texting me saying, when can we Zoom? 248-880-7949. Just text me if you have any questions. The truth is even if you're not my client, I love to help people in this industry.
Cool.
You don't need to be my client to ask me for any kind of advice. So there you go.
Awesome. Why don't you talk a little bit about your Chaldean Chamber of Commerce experience and, you know, all the work that you do with them and the sponsorships and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we love, I mean, since I started with the credit union, I've been in banking over 20 years. Just dated myself.
I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, so I've been with Community Choice now almost 6 years. Amazing place to work, and they encourage us to volunteer in the community. They actually pay us to volunteer.
It's in
Who
the
does
name.
that?
It's in the name, Community
Yeah,
Choice.
so they do, and they encourage us to, and we absolutely love it. So when I first started, you know, we were a part of the Chaldean Chamber, and I partnered with Beth, and I'm like, I'd love to join some of these events. You know, I was doing it a little bit at my previous institutions, but not so involved. So I connected with Sanat, Martin, met so many great people, but now, I mean, we do the check-in sponsorships. We try to give back. I'm constantly, we did backpack drives where we donated tons of backpacks. I mean, we have a scholarship fund that we basically are giving scholarships to the
Very
community. We give out 25 scholarships every single year. And,
What are
you know,
they
and
for?
they're actually for their high school scholarships, so for college, and then we also have trade schools now, which are nice. So anybody that decides, you know, they want to decide they want to go back to school. So we're constantly wanting to help. So, you know, being
Within
a
the
part
state
of
of
the
Michigan.
Yes, absolutely. They have to go to school in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
But
Keep our talent here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But I loved the fact that I was able to do that with the Chaldean Chamber. And Sanat is always looking for opportunities for me, and not only me, but my entire team. I mean,
Yeah.
I think one of our golf outings, we had about 9 managers out from all different member centers, and they loved every piece of it just because we want to be able to give back.
Yes.
And we do, there's a lot of other volunteer. I mean, we're Macomb Foster Closet, like tons of other places that we donate and support. But the Chaldean Chamber is one that I'm very, very involved in. We're corporate sponsors. Beth golfs in the golf outings. You know, so we love the involvement.
We do.
Good. What's awesome having you guys in the
We like the new
community.
Wabeek one too.
Yeah,
Just
that's a
saying.
nice one.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, honestly, it's a different set of people from the two events. The one from Shenandoah and the one from Wabeek. There's different people at the different events, so it gives us the opportunity to connect with people that we know at both events.
Yeah,
Networking is what we were talking
Yep.
about earlier.
it's cool. I've worked both putting contests, the Shenandoah and the Wabeek one.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Different clientele. Like you can see it sometimes from one to the other.
For sure.
It's almost generation to generation
Yeah.
within the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Which at my age, I'm seeing now. I used to deal with the fathers, and now I'm dealing with the sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I honestly say I love it. So.
Yeah.
Cool. It's
Good
good
deal.
to have you in our Chaldean community.
Thank
So
you.
that-
Being Italian, I really.
We're very close.
I'm like Mojo. I'm an
Yes,
honorary.
yes.
Mojo came out dancing.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows Beth. Like, honestly, I think people that are going to watch this are going to say, we know Beth. She's just very involved for years. She's very involved with our Chaldean community.
And thank you for the my big fat Greek wedding movie that was Italian based, but all the Chaldeans in our community can relate to every bit of it.
Yes.
I would say that ethnicity is a big part of why people are successful. And it goes back to what you said. It's the customer service.
Yeah.
You know, it's how we were raised. We were raised to take care of people. We were raised with the morals and the scruples and the background. And I think that comes across if you've got that background, and it helps a lot.
Can I
So-
say that
There
I'm
you go.
sorry.
No, you got it.
Chaldeans, I think, are very customer service oriented. We are great at customer service and we expect it back. And I think that my clients, and all Chaldeans honestly notice what you guys are doing. We really, truly do value customer service, and we get very irritated when we're not treated as good as we treat. The reason we're successful entrepreneurs, I think, is because we're great at customer facing jobs, and I believe that it's important for all of Chaldeans to get that same level of respect back.
Absolutely.
And I do believe, and I see it every day, the reason my clients love you guys is you give them that respect. They are in the cannabis space, and sometimes some people can look at that a little weird, but you guys don't. You guys are very respectful of them, their businesses, and just them as people and their families. And they've noticed that. My clients have told me that. The guy with the G-Wagon loves you guys. You know, you gave him the respect that he deserves.
So if we sign up with Community Choice, we get a G-Wagon?
Yeah.
I mean, potentially, maybe.
We can help you.
We
We
can
can
help you get
facilitate
there.
you purchasing it.
Gotcha.
But we have, honestly, I would be remiss if I didn't say we actually have accounts that are amazing on the personal side too. We have a Get Big Rewards program. So like if you came in as just a personal account, you can earn up to $9 a month, $108
That's
a
how
year.
much I'd be bringing in.
And then if you got that G-Wagon, you can get up to 10% interest rebate on the interest that you paid at the end of the year. So we have members that, you know, that are making a lot of money just by having accounts with us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It offsets fees if they had fees during the year, but it's a really nice program. I mean, who really gives you money back to have an account?
They also told me that they are helping him get this G-Wagon because I was his CPA. And they trust my work.
So take heed.
You
So
want
take
the
heed,
G-Wagon,
folks. Take
you want
heed.
the G-Wagon, you go to Community Choice, you hire me.
So this, I don't know if it's a rumor or something I read or maybe some misinformation, but what's the 6,000 pound rule about writing off an entire vehicle? Is there any such thing? Have you ever heard anything like
Oh
that?
yeah, you can write it off. It's a heavy use vehicle. So all these delivery vehicles that they're using. I have a client that got a trailer for his manager, and because it has wheels and it moves, he could write off the entire thing. So it's not a rumor; it's true.
Okay. So what
and you know
vehicles
what
fall
else?
in that category?
Believe it or not, a G-Wagon.
Yeah, I know. I heard about that. That's why.
But only a portion of it. So when I was trying to convince my husband to get me a Mercedes truck, I was like, look, we'll write it off.
Right.
But you know what I will say too, there's something important that just came up between one of my clients. And I think it's super important that my clients all have, and if they have the real estate and they own it, real estate holding companies. There's a lot of things that, you know, you are legally allowed to deduct from a real estate holding company that you're not allowed to deduct in the cannabis space. And as long as you have a good attorney and a good tax advisor and a good accountant, and they could be 3 different people, there's so many ways to deduct things that you won't be able to in your dispensary, but if you do it right legally and you put it all on paper, you're able to deduct a lot more things if you have a real estate holding company, management company, a dispensary. There's so many options.
Yeah.
So that delivery vehicle, if you don't want to use it as delivery, but you want to use it as a vehicle, if you're a manager and you go from location to location, I have a client that purchased this big, beautiful Mercedes car that
The
like
Sprinter,
looks like a
that's
Sprinter. Yeah, it's
Sprinter.
beautiful.
Mercedes Sprinter
Yeah.
trucks.
And he has a bunch of real estate, and he does use this to go from each real estate location. That's what he uses. And for the IRS, if you're using it for work and he uses it 100% for work, then you're allowed to deduct the payments.
Yep.
So that Sprinter falls into that too, by the way.
Gotcha.
Hummers and big big pickup trucks, anything that's super heavy. See, I didn't really understand what like how much my car weighs versus how much somebody's truck weighs. But really heavy looking car, man. There's actually on the IRS website a bunch of cars, and then there's also. Well, this is a personal thing, but electric cars, you can't do it on Tesla anymore. But like, if you were to purchase like a Rivian electric car, you can get rebates. But that's so out of this. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. So she mentioned structure and ways that people kind of use holding companies. Is that what you said?
Like a management company, like, you know, you own the real estate and you own the dispensary, but one LLC or corporation owns the actual real estate and another corporation owns the actual dispensary, which, by the way, when it comes back to community choice, I believe there's tiers. And if you have two bank accounts, to correct me if I'm wrong, if you have two bank accounts, your real estate company and your actual dispensary, your dispensary has some fees. The real estate company has less fees, lower fees. So that's also super important to understand. You need two separate bank accounts. You'd have to go to community choice with two separate bank accounts, and there is fees, but there's tiers for them. And the real estate company or the management company, we just created a management company for my client because he has multiple locations, and we wanted one management company, and they created that. The fees are minimum. They're nothing.
Right. So
not compared.
what I was segueing into was to have Beth explain the best way to structure internally your company or your holdings or your assets to help facilitate a loan. What would you give?
So the real estate, as Charlene said, the real estate needs to be held in an LLC, and that's to protect the borrower as well as for the ease of the financial institution. A limited liability company, LLC, does just that. It limits the liability to the individual members that are part of that. So yes, you should own your real estate in an LLC. Then the operating entity, if you own or you have ownership in the entity that's operating out of that building, it's typically an Inc. or something to that effect because it's an operating business. So what we would do is if that entity that operates in there is related to the people that own the LLC, I would make them co-borrowers on the loan because the source of repayment is coming from the operations of that industry. If it's not, let's say I own the building and Junior, you are running the business, you would not be a co-borrower, but we'd be looking to that lease and probably a guarantee on that lease. So the structure would vary depending on how the ownership and the tenant are related.
And so if anyone has any questions on that, what's the best way for them to get an answer?
Text Donna at 11:30.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Text back on that one.
No. You can email me at Spadafore, E for Elizabeth, which I never use, but it's legal, at communitychoicecu.com. I'd be happy to talk to you.
Spell Spadafore for them?
S like Sam, P like Peter, A-D-A, F like Frank, O-R-E.
Okay. We'll make sure we're going to link all this stuff.
Yeah, everything will be down in the
Great.
description.
Great.
Yep. So make sure that they do that. Any nice things you ladies want to put into this video or acknowledge before we take off? I do want to say one thing. I have read that 5 out of the 6 top books for decision making has been noted that women make better decisions than men.
Yes,
So
yes.
for the sake of this, I'm just saying.
What's the one? What's the fifth
Yeah,
one?
What is
I got it.
what is
Yeah, what was the one Audit that's
I want to
different,
read
right?
that one.
Well, the whole chromosome
crazy.
thing. So yeah, so have faith in it. I'm just saying, have faith because truth is a lot of times I do turn to like women. You guys tend to mellow us down, break it down for a second to help us understand. So I give you credit for running the industries you're running. It is aggressively hit with some crazy men that want to come in and think I can just bring a duffel bag. Well,
No black men.
yeah, I'm gonna stick with the men for a second because I'm saying too, they're a little bit more vicious when it comes to dropping that duffel bag and saying I need this.
Or they're
deposit."
loud.
Yeah, it's just,
They are just
We have
like,
ways to
"Woo."
handle that.
right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So it's good to have you.
Yeah.
You all seem sensible to the point
Yeah.
that if I came in scrambled trying to look for how, you three seem to be able to 1, 2, 3 for us. And it seems great that you have your relationship kicking. So
Yeah.
I want to give you guys credit for where you're
I think
at.
I can tell you that we will try to find a way to get it done instead of
Yeah.
try to tell you we can't
We
do
can't.
it.
That is why I like community choice. This is the truth. This is the honest to God truth. They
Yep.
do find a way.
Yep.
And Donna's not said no to me once. I don't know what I've asked her for some things, and she's always like, let me see if the guy's online. She never says no to me or my clients, and even when it's a no, it's so sweet. They don't even get mad.
So the word we got here, just so for decision before we go, is good cop, bad cop. This is the no. She's gonna set your ass straight and say what she's gotta say. By the way,
me.
we agreed at the beginning we're okay with trucker's mouth when we do business. Okay, it gets
What you see is what
yeah,
you get.
Yeah, it's a more effective punch. So
Can I give
again,
a final thought?
of course.
Super important final thought. Don't wait until the last minute to get a bank account and an account.
Yes, please don't.
Please do it from like this moment you get your LLC in your name, open up a bank account,
Cool.
call a CPA. It doesn't have to be me. Just call a CPA, or else we can talk like truckers. Your life will go to shit.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just want to say thank you for giving us this
Yes,
opportunity
thank
to be on. We're looking forward to it, so thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, we want to thank you, especially a guy like me who's in business who gets shit on by banks that are big corporate level banks. And not say you guys aren't any bigger or as big, but you treat us different, which makes it a lot more warming and welcoming
Yes.
to work with.
Yes.
Charlene will get your ass straight. So if your desk looks like my desk, she will turn it around and make it look a lot nicer and prettier for them to get to these women.
Yes.
You guys can look them up. I mean, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can see this episode, and all the links will be posted up there for you to be able to see it. We're happy to have you on and happy to make our lives easier in this up and coming future of business, and along with other things that you guys do. So to the two groups here, we've got Booked and Balanced, and we've got the Community Choice, the credit union here that will offer you more service than just cannabis. So get that out of your head. This isn't just a strictly cannabis episode.
And
But
before we go, we're going to ask a final question of
Yep.
all three of you. What does it mean to you to be Chaldean? What does it mean to you to be Chaldean? What does it mean to you to be Italian? So we'll start with you.
Honestly, it's one of the most important parts of my entire life. When people are asking me, do you like living in Michigan? Do you like the Chaldean community? I absolutely love being a part of this community. If I don't go somewhere and see a Chaldean person, I get sad. I was in Florida recently, and I was really sad that I didn't see anybody that I knew. I didn't go to the mall and see.
What part of
what part
Florida
of
did you go
Florida
to?
Yeah, where were you at?
Well, actually,
You must
that's a
have
lie.
been serious.
No, hold on.
Boca
I
Raton.
was in Orlando.
No, she was in Boca.
No, I was in Orlando, and there was a
Alright.
bunch of Chaldeans at the hotel.
Okay.
But I went to
Alright.
the mall, and it looked just like Somerset, and I didn't really see anyone I knew, and it was really sad. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. 98% of my clients are Chaldean. They're the most supportive group of people, and there's people that'll say, oh, they're not supportive and blah, blah. That's not true.
That's
Super
not true.
supportive, man. They just, they just run out and they refer you. They tell people you're amazing because that is what they want to do. They want to see us succeed as a whole community. Look at this whole show. This show is amazing. People watch it. People love it. I love being a part of this community. I'm a member at Shenandoah. We kind of took over Wabeek. I'm a member at Wabeek. And I love being around Chaldean people. It makes me happy. A majority of my husband's clients are Chaldean. I am only here today because of my community. My community supported me. I really truly do love being Chaldean. I love being an American. I love being Chaldean American in this country.
Yep.
We are so blessed. And I remember I used to go talk to he's Father Frank, Bishop Francis all the time. And when I was younger, I was not really involved in the Chaldean community, and I didn't know how to get involved in the Chaldean community, so he sent me to Kairos. I made a whole bunch of Chaldean friends. I ran for Shenandoah's. I wanted to be on the board, and then I dropped out because I got scared. But everyone was so supportive. I didn't know how many people were going to vote for me until I dropped out, and they were like, no, we love you. There's some supportive people, and people might not see that, but I think that they are amazing. I love being Chaldean. That's my final answer.
I think I got your spot on the board there
You
at
did?
Shenandoah. Yeah.
Didn't I drop out?
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for dropping out.
I dropped out because I was scared. I was like, I'm young. They're gonna laugh at me. There was the guy that was running. I thought he was gonna hate me. And I want to do it again though.
You should.
I really want to. Please vote for me. I want to do it so bad. I want to win.
We need a woman on the board.
You need a
We
female
don't have one
CPA.
right now.
Yeah.
We love
Yeah.
you, Rod, but come on.
That's why I dropped out.
We
I was
love
like,
you, Rod.
That's why I dropped out. Rod was gonna kick. Rod won. Everyone knew him.
Rod's our close family friend. but
Rod
Rod's
knew-
Rod.
Rod, everyone
Yes,
knew
he is.
him.
Rod's Rod.
Everyone
well.
knew him, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna win. Who knows me? No one's gonna vote for me. But now I'm gonna run again soon. Everyone vote for me. I want to be on
Charlene
the board.
2022.
Yeah.
We just had
Yes.
an election, so
Yeah, you
we
did.
have three new
I know,
three new
I-
members.
I'm waiting.
Board members.
I'm
Okay.
waiting until more people know me. This will
Gotcha.
help.
Yep.
Vote for me.
I honestly love the Chaldean community. They're so giving and caring and supportive. I'm not gonna lie, getting in this industry, I knew nothing about it. I
Mhm.
think I talked to Charlene early on and Beth, and I was like, oh my gosh, what does my credit union want me to do? Okay, they have faith in me. I don't even have faith in myself. I was nervous because, but I think knowing that I'm going to be working with the Chaldean community, there's a lot of the Chaldean community that are in this industry, smart businessmen that decided that they're just going to reinvest their money. And I've met a lot of, not just Chaldean, but speaking on Chaldeans, I mean, they're just so giving and caring. As a matter of fact, one of my members said to me, do you know what 710 is? And I said, my birthday? And he said, no, that's oil day.
Yeah.
And I go, what? And he goes, 710 backwards is oil. And I'm like, oh. Literally the next day, my Farmington Hills office calls and they said that he sent me a whole bouquet with balloons and chocolates because he knew it was, my birthday. And I was like, what? No way. I mean, they're just so caring and giving. They want to just give you the shirt off their back. And even if we have to make small tweaks here and there, to certain things, they're very understanding. We always we start with the why, and we treat everybody like family, and they treat me like family. Honestly, I literally feel like Charlene's family.
Yeah.
And this honorary Chaldean here. I mean, honestly, like everybody just works together. It's one common goal. We just want to help each other.
For sure.
She would be
And
considered
you-
Chaldean. She's
Yeah.
Chaldean Italian.
Oh, that's a
I
good
like
one.
that.
I like that. Oh,
Best
that's
of
a new
both
one.
worlds, man.
Yeah, right?
So being raised Italian, I was raised with a very strong religion, very strong faith. Everything's about family, faith, food, wine, and our family tables are very similar to your family tables. Everyone's talking at once. You've got 3 conversations, 7 conversations, but everyone knows what's going on. So I think that I've been blessed to get into the Chaldean community because of my background being very similar with how I was raised.
For sure.
And it's very important, I think, to connect with that because that's what makes the world go round.
Yes.
And I love looking into someone's eyes and seeing right to their heart. And I've been very fortunate with my clients, my members, to have had those types of relationships. And I think it's because you get to know people on a different level.
Sure.
If you're willing to share yourself, people are willing to share themselves.
Yep.
And unfortunately, people who are not raised with those types of moralities and backgrounds don't have that benefit. So I feel very blessed to have been raised that way.
Yeah.
And I think that that's helped me in my career.
Very cool.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to sign off now. We thank
Great.
the 3 of you for joining us. Like, subscribe, and share out there, people. Thanks, Junior, for coming back and helping me out with these shows. You're the best.
And good to have Charlene back on because I got my ass handed to me.
Everyone, don't worry. I spoke this time. We're good. Don't get mad at him.
All right.
And, see you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool.